Okay, so there's a story that I don't know how else to call it, but a bombshell. It's almost breaking, but this is a really crazy story, and this shit has me absolutely fuming because, as you guys obviously know, in the 2016 primary, the DNC was in the camp for Hillary from the beginning. You know, they leaked her questions. They made it so that the debates were put on at, MLK Day or after while Sunday Night Football was playing, and just ways to bury it, completely bury it. And they did all kinds of other shit to cheat, right? And so many progressives, literally millions of people, felt alienated by the Democratic Party and the media for that matter, and they are now wanting to leave the Democratic Party. Well, now we have an absolute bombshell. You guys know the 2018 midterms are coming up. It's extremely important. Democrats are trying to win. We're trying to get people into office who will be able to combat Trump effectively or combat Trump at all. Now, basically what you guys are about to be seeing is literal evidence, non-disputable, non-debatable evidence right here that what the DCCC, basically the Democratic, group for the House, it's basically the Democratic group for the House, they have been doing the same thing that they did the same thing that the DNC did to Hillary Clinton. They chose a candidate, they came together, and they basically chose who it is. They take all their funds, they put the funds towards them. What you're going to be seeing is there's this progressive candidate who recorded this conversation that he had with Representative Steny Hoyer, who is, I think, the second whip of the Democratic Party or one of the whips of the Democratic Party. And you're going to be seeing this. This was recorded by him and has been reported by Lee Fang and The Intercept. The Intercept did a very good video on this. Check it out. We're going to come back and talk about it.
Meanwhile, in the race for Congress, the DCCC, or the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, has moved aggressively to crush competitive primaries. DCCC officials and senior Democrats are hand-picking moderate, business-friendly candidates and are attempting to push progressives out of key races. In Colorado's 6th District, one of the most competitive seats in the country, the DCCC moved in early to select Jason Crow, a corporate lawyer, as the party candidate, pushing resources, endorsements, and money to Crow while elbowing out progressive Democratic competitors. The Democratic Party often denies that they play favorites. What follows is a meeting between Congressman Steny Hoyer, the number 2 Democrat in the House, and Levi Tillemann, a progressive running for the nomination for the Colorado seat.
Levi, I want to talk to you about this congressional race.
Absolutely, that's what I expected.
Yeah.
You would like me to get out of the race.
And you keep saying I would like you to get out. And of course that's correct.
Yeah. I know you're fundraising for Crow.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm for Crow. I am for Crow because the judgment was made very early on. I didn't participate in the decision.
So your position is a decision was made, very early on before voters had a say. That's fine because that's the DCCC knows better than the voters of the 6th Congressional District, and we should line up behind that candidate.
That's certainly the consequence of our decision. There are 2 things I'd like you to consider. One may be easier than the other. The first would be if you stay in the race.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, I would hope you would not. I'll get to that. But if you stay in the race, it is not useful to the objective to tear down Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Crow's clearly the favorite. That doesn't mean he'll win. It just means he's the favorite.
I hear you.
That doesn't mean it's right. It just means
No, I hear you.
right. I don't know Crow well, but I think he's a decent human being.
So before we go any further on that, Crow is the favorite. In no small part, Congressman Hoyer, because the DCCC not only put its finger on the scale, but started jumping on the scale very early on. And I'm born and raised a Democrat. I mean, it's undemocratic to have a small elite select someone and then try to rig the primary against the other people running. And that is basically what's been happening.
I hear you, and I disagree.
But you were part of that process
Absolutely.
as well. You said
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
I've been at this a long time.
Yeah.
When I said you need to get in strong, hard, and early, you disagree with me. Obviously, that's your choice.
You guys are shoveling money at him.
We're going to continue.
You're going to continue to do it?
We are going to continue to do it. And the reason, Levi, we're going to do it is because a decision was made to focus. It was clear that was our policy and our hope that we could early on try to come to an agreement on a candidate that we thought could win the general. And to give that candidate all the help we could give them so that we would have a unified effort going into a general election.
Which means, effectively, Congressman Hoyer, I'm running a campaign against Crow and against you and against the DCCC because you guys are on Crow's side.
Yeah. You know, frankly, that happens in life all the time.
This is unfucking believable. This is not forgivable. This is literally unforgivable. Because not only does it show that there was no lesson learned from 2016, in which we saw Bernie Sanders get cheated out of an actual fair election, but now they're literally they have such disdain and lack of care for progressives in the Democratic Party that they're going to go into the 2018 election and do the exact same thing that they did back in 2016. So as you guys saw there, like I stated, this is undisputable evidence. This is not disputable by any means, shape, or form. There's no way you can dispute this because the progressive candidate in the Colorado 6th District was very smart. His name is Tillemann. He's very smart. He knew he perfectly made it so that there was no questions. Steny Hoyer clearly stated that, yes, basically in the beginning of the race, we came together and we said, who's the person that we think is going to be best? We're going to be campaigning for that person. We're going to get funds and give it all to that person. And what Tillemann says is, so basically what you're saying is, not only is this undemocratic because there's a group of elites just picking who the fuck the candidate is, but also, I'm not just running a campaign against John Crow or something, Representative Crow, but I'm also running an election against the DCCC, which is true. It's true. That's not fair. This is by definition undemocratic. Think about this, man. A group of people coming together to decide basically who's going to win the election. Because let's keep it real. Without the help of the DCCC, the Democratic machine, it's almost impossible to win these representative or Senate elections. This one specifically represented the House of Representatives. So it's very difficult to run these win these elections for a seat in the House of Representatives when there's an entire organization that is dedicated to fucking you. There's an entire organization that's getting funds together to combat your campaign. There's an entire group that is, just putting all of their energy into this one candidate when they've said that they're supposed to stay neutral. The entire Democratic Party, the whole DNC, everyone, they're supposed to stay neutral in these primaries because you know why? If they don't, they're not being democratic. This isn't a democracy. How's this a democracy? How's this a democracy? It's not. You can't. This is not hand-picking who the fuck is going to run is not a democracy. And you know what this is? This is horrendous on multiple levels. There's a bunch of, it's a multitude of problems, okay? But the biggest one is that how are you going to backstab all of the progressives in your party who supported Bernie Sanders and then literally go back in less than 2 years? It hasn't even been 2 years yet, right? In less than 2 years, go back and do the exact fucking same thing. The exact same thing. You don't give any shits about progressives whatsoever. And how can you blame progressives for being like, yo, we want a third party now because you're literally cheating us. You are cheating us out of a fair election. How could you ever, I repeat, how could you ever blame any progressive for saying, we need a third party? Because if this is how the Democratic Party treats progressives, it literally turns the Democratic Party into an undemocratic party. The whole name it's bullshit. It's massively ironic because the name it's a Democratic Party. But there's no democracy in this. Where's the democracy? You're picking who runs. You're picking who the person is going to be. You're picking who the person that's going to be elected. What kind of shit is that? That's such bullshit. This, like Tillemann said, it's like, it's a group of elites just coming together to pick who's going to run. The voters don't really have a say. It's such bullshit. How can we trust the Democratic Party if they're constantly going to fuck us every single time? Every single election that comes around. It's not even 2020 yet. It's 2018. It's 2018. Midterm elections, not even the presidency. And there's more than just this Colorado district. This is happening with all these elections. So here's something that's even funnier, right? As if my hate for Nancy Pelosi couldn't have, if I had ever thought that it couldn't grow. I mean, here we go. It's even more. Nancy Pelosi said this. She said, I don't know that a person can tape a person without the person's consent and then release it to the press. In terms of candidates and campaigns, I don't see anything inappropriate in what Mr. Hoyer was engaged in. A conversation about the realities of life in the race as to who can make the general election. That's not what the conversation was at all, you piece of shit. That wasn't what it was at all. What Nancy Pelosi is doing here is defending this bullshit. And I just told you, it's indisputable. You can't debate about this. It's very clear, and Tillemann was very smart in phrasing the questions. Steny Hoyer specifically stated that, yes, in the beginning, we came together and decided who we're going to back. Not that, at this point in time, it was all neutral, it was all fair, but now we're going to decide, we're going to kind of try to talk to everyone, talk it out, because we need to come together as a Democratic Party and figure this out, because we need the best shot for the general. No, bitch, that's not what it was. That is not what it was. You know what this was? Picking the fucking candidate in the beginning. This is literally undemocratic. A group of elites coming together to pick who the fuck is going to run. That's not Nancy Pelosi. You're a liar. You're a fraud. You're a blue dog Democrat. You suck. You suck. You are horrible. I hate you. You're a horrendous representative. You're a horrendous minority leader. You suck. You're terrible. And, I can't explain how much this makes me angry. Because like I've said, it's like they've learned nothing. They've learned nothing. How could you guys bitch so hard about people who voted for Jill Stein or independent or didn't vote at all, which again, that wasn't the reason why Hillary lost. Because if all the Jill Stein votes went to Hillary Clinton, she still wouldn't have won. She still wouldn't have won. But you have the gall to possibly criticize people for voting third party, independent, or not at all. When you are cheating progressives every single election cycle, you don't even have the fucking guts or the dignity to wait 4 years. It's been 2 years and you're already cheating progressives again. You're cheating progressives again. Oh, fuck you, Democratic Party. Fuck you, Democratic Party. The Democratic Party should rename itself to the Undemocratic Party because that's what the fuck they are. They're not letting the voters choose. They're saying, we're going to come together, pick who we think is the best, and we're going to manipulate the election so that that person wins. How the fuck is that fair? How is that the Democratic establishment being neutral with the party officials? How is that them being neutral? They're picking and choosing who the fuck is going to be the candidate. And you have the gall. You have the gall to tell me that, these fucking Jill Stein supporters, these people not voting independent, these Bernie Sanders whiny supporters, stop whining. Fuck you. Fuck you. How about that? Fuck you. Because you're cheating us every fucking time, and then you bitch and moan about when they don't vote for you. This is why people are calling for a third party. How could you not? You tell me how you could put yourself in the shoes of being a progressive, right? Being a supporter of progressive candidates, being a supporter of Bernie Sanders, being cheated every fucking time, and then being like, I enjoy getting fucked every election. I enjoy getting cheated every single election. Because now, it's increasingly looking like it is time for a third party. A new progressive party. Because this is unacceptable. How can I get behind a party in which every time, literally every election, they're cheating us? I just can't. How can I vote for the Democrats ever? Ever. They've cheated us in 2016, and now they're cheating us again in 2018. How can I ever trust them ever again? How can any progressive trust them? How could this even be a good strategy? How could this be a good strategy for the party? You lose 1,000 congressional seats under Barack Obama, and you're like, Humpty Dumpty, we're all fucking, hunky-dory, it's all great, ooh, aha. Like, well, what the fuck are you doing? What do you do? How is this even a good strategy for the Democratic Party? Forget me. Forget progressives. How could this be a good strategy for the Democratic Party? I don't know how anybody who's a progressive could vote for the Democratic Party ever again. I just don't know. I don't understand. This is a bombshell that's beyond belief, and The Intercept did a great job of reporting on this. That's why I love The Intercept. The Intercept is one of my favorite outlets for sure. But this is just, wow. Wow. I thought they really couldn't get to a new low, but yet here we are. All I gotta say is, Fuck the Democratic Party and fuck everything the fuck that they stand for. They should change their name to the Undemocratic Party because that is what the fuck they are. The Democratic Party is complete shit and undemocratic. Fuck them. Fuck Nancy Pelosi because she sucks. She's a horrendous minority leader. She's a horrendous representative. We gotta hope that Stephen R. Jaffe wins because she is horrible. She's not a progressive by any means. She's a blue dog Democrat. Loser. Wimp. She sucks. We need progressives in office, but we can't get progressives in office if the Democratic Party, or I should call it, we should just call it the Undemocratic Party now because this is not democracy. This is the elites picking who the fuck they want to win. They're manipulating the election by funding them and giving them all the resources they need while stranding and starving the real progressive candidates. So the Undemocratic Party, go fuck yourselves. Fuck you.